Was divorced. Now, marriages have an even higher divorce rate the second time around at 60%. Needless to say, couples therapy is important in today's modern relationships. India and Dale Browne are living proof. They became household names with the launch of the third season of Showtime's hit docu-reality show, Couples Therapy, a compelling documentary deep dive into the world of relationship counseling. Their hope to normalize the conversation of therapy and relationships in the Black community. India and Dale, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate that.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. All right, let's get right to it. We're going to start with you, India. Why did you and your spouse decide to pursue a docu-reality show to address the concerns in your relationship?
Well, we were always in therapy before we got married, and when the pandemic hit, we found ourselves, we were very comfortable with one another, but we were having these big blow-ups, and we couldn't quite understand why. And when we sought out various therapists, they weren't available. So we actually started watching the show to try to gain some perspective and challenge each other. And we just came across an ad, and the rest is history. So it just became a part of this thing that we were embracing already.
Dale, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, certainly. We certainly didn't intend for it to be in a public forum, but certainly happy that it turned out that way. Because just of the profound effect that we're having on individuals, like we've had so many people come up to us and just say, just saying how our journey has inspired them and how much they needed this. So it's been really good to hear that feedback.
Yeah, and sometimes, real quick, when I talk to people that's going to couple therapy, sometimes they're looked at as like, oh, is it because you're failing? It could be because you just want to do better in your relationship. So you believe couples therapy is fundamental when building a relationship because it forces you to face yourself and your traumas. Let's go ahead and start with you, India, on now your thoughts.
Absolutely. It definitely, what I discovered, it unlocked a lot of things within me personally. It answered a lot of questions for why do I get insecure about this, or why does he trigger me with that? I just took a deeper dive into myself, and I found that a lot of it was from my childhood traumas, just kind of that I've carried into this relationship. So it unlocked a lot personally.
Yeah.
Okay. And Dale, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and for me, it was just an opportunity to reckon with myself. Sometimes I think we all have good intentions, but sometimes those intentions are not what's being communicated to our partner in the heat of things. So it's just a time for you to be able to reckon with yourself.
Dale, we're going to stay with you. What did you learn in couples therapy that you didn't know beforehand?
Well, I'll tell you, Dr. Orner gave us a couple of techniques that helps us to navigate through difficult times. And one of the things that I learned is just trying to leave that thread of hope during every conversation. Not everything needs to be hashed out in that moment, but there are plenty of things that I've just been able to discover with myself, and learning that childhood trauma plays a big part in that.
India, what did you learn that you didn't know beforehand?
Yeah, absolutely. Just piggybacking off of what Dale said, what really was, what resonated with me was the fact that a lot of my triggers in this relationship had nothing to do directly with Dale himself, and everything to do with things that I carried into this relationship from my childhood traumas. And that especially us as Black people, we have a very difficult relationship with this society, a very painful history. And a lot of traumas and hurt and pain have been passed down to us, and we've almost inherited these things. So I think that was one of the most powerful things that stood out. Was a lot of my problems just stem from childhood traumas that were passed down.
I think our soulmates are going to lean in for this question. Why do you believe, we'll start with you, India, why do you believe that therapy is so important in relationships?
Well, it's incredibly important because you get a direct, you put in some commitment to work on yourself, and you find out a lot of things personally that can help you, just help you stronger and just grow and just become healthier in your relationships. And especially for, I think what's happening right now with us millennials is we are recognizing that a lot of these things that we are enduring are not something that we placed upon ourselves. Like I said before, we inherited it. Mm-hmm. And we are really trying to put those traumas and that pain on the table, face it, so that we can just work to be better, stronger people and be better for our relationships.
So important with what you said. Dale, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I believe, I'm a true believer that you can never be a preacher in your own house. So sometimes it's always good to have a different perspective to shed light on something that you may not have seen, or, just to pitch something to you in a different manner that maybe you weren't really getting from your spouse. So I think that's very important for relationships, and it can, elevate your relationship to a different level.
Yeah, we kind of spoke on trauma. So, Dale, what did you learn about trauma and its impact on relationships, how it can affect it?
Well, I learned that I had a rough childhood, and that and that a lot of these childhood traumas were, just buried deep within me in my day-to-day action with India. And it was good for me to realize some of those things and just take accountability and, relieve her of some of the responsibility of making me feel better for those traumas that I went through.
We have less than a minute, so I want to ask you guys, and we'll go with you, India. What advice do you have to other couples looking to repair aspects of their relationship?
I would definitely say put it on the table and face it. As you mentioned before, going to therapy doesn't mean that you're a failure or there's something wrong with you or your relationship. I like to look at it as maintenance, as you would go in for any checkup for your body. Physically, I think it's just as important mentally to do some check-ins, to check in with yourself. And it's great to be in therapy with your partner, because it lends some perspective, so you get to be on that journey with them.
India and Dale, thank you so much for sharing all those thoughts and information with us so much. We appreciate you and look forward to having you guys back real soon, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Take care.
I love that. They're on